It's time.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are down a soldier today. He's living it up in Hawaii right now.
Aloha.
What did he say today? He's going to the site where they filmed Jurassic World, Jurassic Park.
Yes.
That stuff. That's just like cool stuff to visit. I mean, regardless if you're his son's age or if you're adult age like us.
The little kid in Stoy is about to come out today. Not to mention, I mean, I can only imagine the views there are.
Yeah, I mean, he sent a couple pictures back for our marketing team of his Kala water bottles and stuff like that, and it's like, must be nice. We're just
enjoy the next two weeks of your life.
Exactly. I mean, he's missing out on the RBC Canadian, but
right. And all the new talk with Liv.
Yes, absolutely. So this week we'll kind of do our normal recap of what happened last week. We actually had a pretty darn good week overall. Yeah. And then, so that was the Memorial. We will get into our news, and then we're going to talk quite a bit about the new Liv Golf Tour. Pretty controversial topic, I guess, in the world of golf right now, but at the same time, there's some big names going over there. There's some big money flying around, different formats that we're not used to seeing. So I think it's going to be pretty darn exciting, and I think it's going to be pretty fun. And then after that, we will get into the RBC Canadian. We'll do our typical course breakdown. Stoy already sent in his picks. Cole and I talked about it a little bit with him earlier. We were like, we just don't like how much we actually like his picks.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's got like a little bit of an advantage going, just typing them in. I don't know, but I like his picks a lot. So we'll get into that. But first, let's recap the Memorial. Any highlights for you through there?
I mean, solid golf tournament. Guys, I mean, they made shots when they needed to. And really, I mean, we go, and I think, was it 10.5 we ended up setting our number at. And we're getting pretty good at this. Not to, I mean, one guy shot over, so you ended up winning. Or no.
You did too.
We
both did.
But I mean, that means that we're setting a good number when the field, I mean, usually it's only a few guys that are.
Absolutely.
And then they have distance, and then you've got, the T5s to T15s usually that's just kind of how the golf world works as far as finishes. But, the fact that we had one guy hit the over and the rest of the field would have hit the under. So means we're getting pretty good. And Horschel that guy made shots and made putts. Every time he looked like he was going to get in trouble, he got himself out, and then he made a 55-foot putt to seal it. Basically.
Yeah, 55-foot eagle on 15, correct?
Yep.
I think is what it's insane. And there was other guys making really, really, really tough shots throughout the week. Was it? I can't remember. Maybe it was Cantlay. I think he hit like a Texas wedge from 10 yards off the green.
Right.
Holds it out.
Yep.
Like when we talk about Texas wedges and make jokes about it in amateur golf, it's like, oh, this is kind of a joke. This is kind of funny. But at the same time, tour players are using it and holing out putts and stuff like that. So it's kind of fun to see that that correlation between amateur and pro golf.
Well, when you see the pro golfers, and there's certain guys that are more adept at it as far as their creativity, the more creative the golf course makes you be. There's certain guys that shine. Jordan Spieth's number one that comes to mind in my eyes. It just, Augusta creates a lot of those scenarios for people and stuff like that. So different golf courses bring out different shots, but Memorial was definitely fun and created a lot of those situations.
What I think I counted like less than half the guys that made the cut shot under. It was way less than half the guys that made the cut shot under par on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday was a tough day.
Yeah.
For a lot of guys. And I think,
I mean, even golf, I mean, that's what Horschel played on. He shot even.
Yeah. And I don't know what it is, if it's the weekend curse for my picks or what, because at the start of the week, this is probably the third or fourth week. At the start of the week, I'm like, hey, day one, I might have picked a first round leader.
Right.
Day two, my guy's in, top 10 going into into the weekend. And then he didn't play bad on Saturday by any means. He didn't move really, but he didn't play bad. And then all of a sudden 12 over.
Yep.
I think that was the worst round out of anybody that made the cut.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of bad 9s, though.
Yeah.
Even like Cam Smith shot a 42 on the front
Right.
on Sunday, I think it was. So you saw some amateur-ish scores that these 9 holes created, even though the back 9 was definitely, I think, the more difficult of the two. There was a couple of holes that were more scoring opportunities, but overall, as far as where guys were going to actually lose strokes, were a few of the holes on the back 9.
And I think we saw that for the first 3 rounds that people played. Like the back 9 typically played a little bit tougher. Mm-hmm. You saw a lot more scoring on the front 9, but yeah, I don't, I don't know. So we can jump into our picks a little bit here. So Stoy, we'll start off. We'll just go
down the list.
Yeah, let's go down the list. We'll go top to bottom. One and done picks. Stoy took Xander. A respectable 18th finish. I mean, I think he was probably in the top 10 with odds. I think he was right around 7th. Or no, he might have been 4th. He was just below Spieth.
Yep.
But still, I mean, 18th is not a bad finish by any means. Cole, you had a good pick with Max Homa here.
This guy's been playing some golf, and
he has been.
I don't remember the stat exactly as far as where it ranked, but I think he was the first guy at the Memorial to hit less than 100 putts in a 4-round tournament.
Really?
He hit 99 putts.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, putted his ass off.
Was it Adam Scott? I think it was day one. Adam Scott went like 10 or 11 holes straight, 1 putts.
Right.
Like I was watching it live, watching it happen. I'm like, this is insane. Like just to think, like, okay, I 1 putted 11 holes in a row, and some of those are 15, 18-foot putts that he's just holing out and just getting a good roll on stuff.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, putter. I mean, every part of his game is solid right now, but the putting was the strength of the weekend for him as far as keeping a score that allowed him to finish, I think, top 5. So
yeah. And then I took Cam Young, and we kind of did a brief talk about that. He ended up finishing 60th.
Again, like you said, you're a round leader picker.
Yeah.
First round leader. That's
first round leader. That's
whatever
what
Ryan picks, take them for first round leader. The guy will nail it every time.
I think honestly, that's like the 4th time I've done that. I did it with
they finished
Young.
Outside top 40.
Yeah. I did it with Young. I did it with Xander. Mm-hmm. I did it with Joel Dahman.
Yep.
I mean, it just keeps piling on, and it's frustrating for a one and done.
That's all right. That's why we do these, though. Now we're seeing trends. Now the betting public can get a better idea of. All right, so we don't need to fade Ryan's picks. We just need to take them for one day only.
Exactly. We need to leverage his picks.
They have expiration dates on them.
Exactly. So jumping down to our outright winners, probably our best week. I mean, everybody finished in the top 20. Sungjae and. So Stoy and Cole tied at top 10 finish with Sungjae and John Rahm. Mm-hmm. And then I took Jordan Spieth. He finished 18th. If you guys haven't noticed, we only have 5 of our massive bag of shitty shots left. So we are going to do these sparingly today. The one bad part about me taking Spieth is it's double down on that because he finished. So he was the 5th best odds to win the tournament. And he finished 13 places lower than that.
Yep.
Cole faded him, and as you guys remember, or we can kind of look back and recap that. If we fade somebody's outright winner or one and done pick, it's a 10-spot swing. Yep. So if they finish better, so be it. But if they finish out 10 spots worse than what their odds are, that person has to double down on their shots. So today I have to double down on my shots. I don't know. I might bow out a little bit since it's 12:30 on a Tuesday, but we'll make up for those later on, and we'll keep going down the list though here. Black Stallions, honestly, again, everybody made the cut. It was just kind of I don't know what average week, I guess maybe to call that, but these guys are finishing above average if you look at probably where they're picked to place.
I mean, they all would have been plus money, top 40s, top likely plus money, or pretty close even to make the cut.
Yeah, I think Mito might have been the only one, and I think his odds were just weird.
But he
kind of
also
between that top 40, I think he might have been like minus 130. Or
right, but
125
I
or
mean, we
something.
got to look at it, and he also placed 13th.
Right,
So
exactly,
like-
which is very. I mean,
and he's been
Mito
playing
played well,
outstanding
so,
golf.
So Cole with the Mito pick, that was a good call. I mean, 13th out of that, can't really complain. A lot of times with these Black Stallions, like Cole, I think he mentioned it maybe last week or 2 weeks ago. You're not putting a ton of money on these guys. I mean, it's a half a unit, as some guys will talk about, or a quarter of a unit, whatever it might be. But you're not putting a ton on these guys.
No.
And if you're looking at these odds, maybe you're like, okay, maybe I don't like them to exactly win this field. This field might be too tough for them. But to place make the cut, or place a matchup bet on them or something like that,
Right.
that's a good place to take these guys.
Top 40, top 20 type of bets
Absolutely.
sprinkled in with a Black Stallion win.
Right.
Is definitely going to be a very viable payday.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about Cole taking Mito there with a 13th finish. Stoy took Kuchar, who got 45th. And then I took Keegan Bradley, who got 37th. So, I mean, again, overall pretty average, but above average if you look at their odds and probably where they were expected to finish.
Right.
Top 40 picks.
My one miss of the week.
The one miss of the week by Cole. Lahiri Anirban, I think is how you say it. Yeah, Lahiri.
Sounds right.
At plus 140. Again, these are guys that aren't supposed to finish in the top 40. That's
Right.
what we give ourselves, that plus odds, because they're not necessarily supposed to fit there and make that. So Stoy took CT Pan, and he finished 53rd. I think he was playing really, really well. He was up on the board. Did he have like a 9-over day or something like that Sunday?
I think he had a bad day, but I think he had a bad hole. I want to say he was one of the guys that made like a 10.
Okay,
on a hole,
and that
like,
could make sense. That
if
could
I'm
make sense.
recalling correctly, he had a blow up hole, maybe
think
two even.
Yeah, I think I remember something along those lines
Yep.
of you now that you're mentioning it.
Mhm.
But still, I mean, 53rd, just outside that top 40.
Right.
Still a pretty darn good pick there.
Mhm.
And then I had Jonathan Vegas,
Played good
37th. I mean, he played.
Gosh, he
good
faded
golf and
so hard on Sunday too, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that was your theme for the week. Is you had two guys that were in the hunt to win a tournament in Young and Vegas going into Sunday,
Well, yeah,
and
I mean,
just kind of crap the bed
Kim
on
Young
Sunday for you.
was Kim Young on Saturday. I think he shot 5 under day one.
Mm-hmm.
He was even the next 2 days,
Mhm.
and then 12 over on Sunday is what he shot.
Right.
If he would have
Well,
just stayed even,
5 under would have got him a top 10.
he would have got 8th. I think
Mhm.
is what 7th or 8th is what
Right.
I figured it in to be. And it's
Mhm.
like, it's just, you look at it and you're just like, it's crazy what one bad round between these guys can do.
Yeah.
And that's something that we can kind of talk about with this live is what's different in their format
Mhm.
coming up here shortly.
Right.
But let's jump down to our player to fade. Stoy and Cole, both guys finished 18th here. Stoy had Rory, Stoy had Rory, who I think I need to do this. Yeah. So he had Rory, who was second odds to
Right.
finish, to win the tournament. He finished 18th. Cole had Spieth, 5th odds to win the tournament. He finished 18th as well. That's where my second shitty shot comes in. And then I took Lowry, 8th highest odds to finish or to win the tournament, and he finished 32nd.
Right.
So overall for us this week, I mean, you had one miss on Lahiri, but this
Right.
is the first week where I think we've all been double digits or right around each other. So Stoy finished with 10 points, Cole finished with 10 points, and then I finished with 11 points this week. So it's a really, really
And even
decent
those
week across the board.
fades don't sound, I mean, those are still solid finishes, but those guys finished in places where you weren't really getting a lot of value for a top 20 for Spieth or McIlroy or a top 40 for Lowry. So even though those don't sound, they're not miscuts or anything like that, like those are still actually pretty solid fades, even though when at first glance I was like, oh, that's not great. I was like, oh, actually you would never put, you would take those first two guys top 10 in order to get good value. and
Absolutely.
probably a top 20 for Lowry would have been where your value would have started. So really all of them.
Well, yeah, and I think you said it best there. Like you'd have to take them top 10 if they have, top 10 or better odds,
Even top
I guess,
5,
to win.
yeah.
Yeah, to win the tournament, it's tough to not take those guys top 10, top 5 in that situation. So based off of that fade to get your value there, it's a good fade.
Mm-hmm.
Cole, you kind of hit on it before our over under and our at minus 10.5. Like these picks are kind of getting good, and I wonder a little bit if maybe for us, I don't know, maybe it's foreshadowing to this week because there's a course overhaul, kind of like we saw at the Memorial, but maybe it helps us get those picks
Right.
So Stoy took the under on that, thinking that maybe it's going to finish 10, 9, wherever, and honestly, a good pick. Only one guy finished above it.
Yep.
Just like you talked about, only one guy finished better than that. So it's a good pick. He just fell on the wrong side of the fence there. And Cole and I both took the over, so we got that.
Mm-hmm.
Cole, though, coming in hot for the team. We set it at 83.5 for Revenge at TCI. We all took the under because we had faith in him to do that for us.
Yeah.
What did you end up?
79, which was 10 strokes improvement. Which, if I would have been worse, we might have had to hang the golf clubs up for just a little bit.
Yeah.
But no problems getting off the tee. A couple lost golf balls on the front. Actually, one was a bad break off the cart path, and another one was just trying to hit a shot that was maybe 60-40. If it gets through a tree, it was right at the hole, and it didn't hit a limb, dropped straight down out of bounds. So a couple of unlucky bounces, but besides that, much better round. So feel somewhat vindicated by shooting under 80 at TCI, which is not an easy golf course, but second of all, just getting a little bit of revenge from not being able to get off the tee box, at least on the front nine at all, just a week before. So
yeah, that's
a win for the team, which is really
exactly.
what we're here for.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder. We asked Stoy. I wonder if he's gotten any swings in at all. It doesn't seem like it. I'm sure we would have known, but
I mean, he's still got a lot of time left there.
He does.
So.
He does have some days there yet to get around in. Actually, I mean, we played in that tournament last Friday, that basketball tournament. We shot 11 under at Waveland. So the worst part is we bogeyed a hole.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I don't even know how. We were making good putts.
A 3-putt, missed the green.
You will know this hole. Trying to think of what is it, hole 7 maybe, or hole 8, I think is what it is.
Par
it's par 3 coming back
down the valley up the hill.
Yep. So that whole shot that day at 175.
Yep.
But it's a little bit uphill.
Always going to play
when you,
about a half a club long.
Yeah, when you get
with no wind.
Right, when you get a little bit of wind. So I actually clubbed up. So typically on that at 175, if I don't have any wind, anything, any adjustments, I'll probably hit an 8-iron.
Right.
At that, maybe I don't know.
I think I usually hit 7 there.
But I hit a 7-iron because we did have a little bit of wind behind us. I actually might have gone 6 on this on that hole. Put a good strike on it. It was fading back, and I still ended up 5 yards short of the green.
Oh, okay.
And then all of a sudden, one guy shanks his shot. I went first on that hole. One guy shanks his shot. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. We got 2 other guys. One guy had been hitting his irons, pretty much straight all day.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he had clubbed. I don't know.
So you had to use your shot.
Yeah, we had to use.
So you had a chip.
Yep, we had a chip. And
where was the pin at? That green was huge.
It was in the front.
Oh, so I mean,
it wasn't bad.
Correct miss.
It was a good miss, but the thing is, if you're gonna chip there, you have to probably leave it short because it's
downhill.
It's downhill. It's coming right back at you. I went first on this one, and basically I was like, okay. Again, I have 4 guys. So I played a little bit of a bump and run, tried to kind of get it into the hill and skip up. Just got a little bit too much club on it. Probably burned it by 8 feet maybe, so it wasn't a very good shot.
Right. Had to use yours again?
We actually had a guy come like a foot closer.
Okay. But still long.
Still long, just not a good shot. And it was a shot that was so quick that you had to hit the back of the cup and let it drop.
Right.
Or if you hit it soft enough, you're going to leave it below the hole and you're going to miss low side because you couldn't get it high enough with the speed.
Yeah.
Because it
That's several of the greens out there, too.
It's
yeah.
weird.
Mm-hmm.
So we missed that putt and ended up bogeying, but made some birdies that we probably shouldn't have too at the same time. So again, we got third.
Fair enough.
We got third. I don't know what this is, but yeah. So overall, good week.
Good.
I don't even know. I don't even think you have a shot this week, Cole.
No.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Our whole board. We went the whole board. We thought that one of our guys could win it out of every single person being completely different besides Jordan Spieth. That didn't happen.
You guys talked me into that, I feel like. I'm going to need to rewatch the tape, but I feel like I was on the other side of that, and then I was like, whatever. Or
we
I was
were
mad
we
because
said
it
we
was
said
a goon
one and
lock.
done or outright. And then you said, okay, well, if we're going to do that, let's go whole board.
Right.
Is what it was. Because you wanted, obviously, to get a better chance. And
right.
it was going to be one of our players, the fade, that was going to win it.
That's
Is
true.
kind of the talk.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we
Ugh. All right. Well, one for the team.
one for the team. I'll
You know
go.
what? I'm going to jump into this mountain. Oh,
Is that one the...
we'll just do this.
So here we go. Got to still keep the tradition alive.
Right.
I mean, we deserved it. We earned it. So I'll have a couple extras next week. Hopefully I can just not have any more in all the other ones.
The Ruby. The Kinky Ruby.
Jim Beam vanilla. Are you a Jack or Jim man?
Jack.
Jack. Okay. I like a little bit of Jim Beam though.
You're a Jim guy?
Yeah. My grandpa's a big Jim Beam guy.
Both my half brothers are Jim guys over Jack.
Yeah.
I've never
Jim
been.
Beam. I
never
think
been a
Jim
Jim
Beam
fan.
has their fire, Jim Beam Fire or something like that.
It's way better than Fireball.
Way better.
Not even close.
Wait, it's-
Different
yeah.
planet.
What? Okay. What are
It's
your thoughts?
because
on,
it's not syrup.
right. What are your thoughts on Prairie Fire? Have you ever had that?
Yeah, I mean, it's still better than Fireball.
Yeah. So for me, like Fireball, it tastes like crappy
It's-
Big Red that you left in your car for my grandma's Lumina since '94.
Right. Well, and then on top of that, like somebody poured maybe some Caro syrup into it
You're
as
not
well.
wrong.
It's like because
bad.
cold, it's syrupy, and hot, it's just bad.
Yeah, you can't. There's
So
not a
no
good
And
mix.
at some point, I don't know what would have taken me so long. I mean, as a Drake alum, like you would think there would be some more knowledge than Fireball being like where it's at for like probably at least a year.
yeah, I
I
don't
was
know.
just like, oh yeah, just down some Fireball. It's like, there's 1,000 other things that are better than Fireball. Probably more.
I
So,
can
I just
completely
like-
attest to that. No, I actually like Prairie Fire a heck of a lot better because it tastes more like Red Hots
Right.
or like the Atomic Fireballs or whatever.
I mean, yeah, it's a heartburn no matter what. So
Oh,
you might as well
absolutely.
have something that's at least semi enjoyable.
Yeah, I don't really know what. I'm not a big cinnamon flavor guy, so I don't
Right.
know what would be my like go-to cinnamon thing. I don't know, Prairie Fire or Jim
Were you
Beam Fire
ever
maybe?
so? I mean, the whole bomb scene, as far as grape bombs, Vegas bombs, Jaeger bombs. So like, I was a straight Jägermeister guy.
really?
Out.
So
for
you like black
for like
licorice?
no, absolutely despise it. And like a very short period of time, this goes into poor decisions made by me as far as alcoholic choices go. And like I look back at that, and I had a buddy of mine in high school, and we used to buy the big Jaeger bottles, and he had a pool at his house, and we would split a bottle of Jaeger on a Friday or Saturday night while just hanging out in his pool. No Red Bull, I mean, we're not talking Jaeger
Oh,
bombs.
man, that just
We're
sounds
talking
terrible.
Pass the bottle of Jaeger. Like,
That sounds awful.
so, I mean, which is worse? Maybe that's the question. Maybe we can post that. I don't know. I mean, my feeling is that Jaeger is going to be the vote as far as which is worse. But like, if you sat each of those in front of me today, I would probably take the Jaeger.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so, if you brought both
I think I probably would too.
If it was just one.
I think there was two whiskeys that I had my big stint with. Mm-hmm. One was simply because I was a college kid and I liked the way that the can looked. Mm-hmm. Was Stillhouse whiskey.
I've heard of it, never had it. I don't.
It's actually not horrible. It's cheap and it literally comes in a can that's like lighter fluid.
Looks
so it's
like
oh, this is awesome. I'm drinking lighter fluid, right. You know. So as a college kid, I'm like, yeah, this is the coolest thing ever. Woo, let's party. The other one is Bird Dog.
I mean, you've got me on both of those. It must be an age thing.
Maybe it is, but Bird Dog,
definitely heard of both of them, but not
Bird Dog Peach, I think was the go-to. So I had some buddies back in college, and the reason that we got on Bird Dog, it was a random thing that I think it was like a Monday afternoon or something like that, and then it just became a tradition. And it was called 30 Aug. 30th of August. Didn't matter what day of the year, what day of the week it was. Doesn't matter. We're partying
on Bird Dog.
On Bird Dog. Bird Dog was one of the big ones. I drank a lot of Natural Light back then. Still love Natural Light, honestly.
Natty Light. See, I can say this now. So Natty Light. So like, and tell me if yours is the same. So you like, whenever you started drinking, call it high school for some, and then college, and then post. So it was a Natty Light, Keystone Light, and then I would say that transferred into Busch Light. And I would like the second half is kind of like intermixing, but it was all price based for the most part. But like definitely like $9.99 for a 30-pack of Keystone Light at the local Hy-Vee drug.
Yeah, like that was definitely, Keystone was like the first thing. First things first. Like Keystone started before Natty. Mm-hmm. But
Natty would have been before Keystone for me.
Really?
Yeah, Natty was the younger Southeast Polk selection, for lack of a better term.
See, Natty was the younger, we'll call it Cedar Valley, a certain school up there in the Cedar Valley.
Right.
I had a overnight there.
Right.
and that was the big thing. It was affordable. Mm-hmm. And I think I just got so used to it at that point. Now I would literally, it's nice that I actually like the taste of it still, because I can go to a party, bring that with me. You know, we're going to a friend's house for a bonfire or whatever. Bring that with me. If somebody else is drinking that, I'm like, just dive into my cooler,
right?
And not that I care, but like, oh yeah, I'll share all the love with Natural Light.
So where does Natty Light, like, where is it at on the pricing now? Like, because Busch Light has caught up with Coors Light and Bud Light because everybody's buying it, and
so I think
fancy cans and all that stuff. But is Natty Light still below that?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think it's, last time I checked, I think it was like $15.99 for a 30,
right,
or something like that.
Okay.
I haven't bought in a 30-pack of Natural Light in a long time.
Right. Well, because as I look back, Keystone Light is, I mean, all of those beers are beers that are produced along with, so like Keystone is Coors Light, bottom of the barrel.
Right.
Busch Light was, now I don't know if it still is, was basically Bud Light.
Yeah, I don't know.
Of the barrel. And Natty Light, I I don't know. I think Natty Light is also an Anheuser-Busch product.
It is.
So like I don't know where that fits in with Busch Light and Bud Light. But like Bud Light, I can't drink. It gives me a hangover. Two Busch Light or 2 Bud Lights.
Really?
So like that's why I've just whatever
any
do,
flavor, anything.
does I could
Like
just
Bud Light Limes and stuff like
specific-
that?
I actually really enjoy Bud Light Limes.
Yeah.
That was actually my my call name in Call of Duty, or like my PlayStation
Yeah.
whatever call name in college was Blime Me 16, as in Bud Light Lime Me, because that was my like dessert beer or whatever. Like if I'd get a case of Keystone and
Yeah.
a 6-pack of Bud Light Limes.
Yeah.
Like that was my treat.
What
to
did you
myself.
What did you think when Bud Light came out with their Bud Light Orange?
Had it once or twice, and
It didn't really do much to me. It was okay.
I'll
One-
stick with I like Blue Moon, so like that's
Blue Moon.
Yeah,
Oh, come on.
way better.
Come on. I love Blue
And
Moon.
I don't need an orange with my Blue Moon.
No, I don't need one. Do I?
It's good.
Yeah.
I
Will
actually
turn one
prefer a
down?
lemon with my Blue Moon though,
Really?
against the grain.
Never heard of that.
Oh, amazing!
All right.
Because
John-
Blue Moon's already sweet enough,
So Blue
so I just
Moon,
want the
however,
citrus, not the sweet.
Blue Moon, however, great social drink when you're just sitting having a
Mm-hmm.
drink with buddies. In my eyes, terrible dinner drink because it's
Well, it's
kinda
too much
filling.
flavor
Exactly,
and too much
it's-
fill.
Yeah.
Like
But
that's
great
gonna-
social drink. Like great
Oh,
if you're
100%.
just like, hey, let's sit around, let's have a couple beers. Like that's a great drink.
favorite summer drink.
Favorite
Beer.
summer beer. It has to be a beer. I'm a big summer shandy guy.
And I'm a porch rocker.
Never heard of that.
Oh my gosh, it will change from a person who like it is shandy with less sugar.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm mind blown. I'm bringing you a porch rocker.
Perfect.
So it's Sam Adams,
Okay.
and they have a summer series, and so like you can get there's 4 of each beer, 3 of each beer. Porch rocker is phenomenal.
So local brewery, we'll give them a little bit of a shout out. Barntown
Yep.
has their shandy
Mm-hmm.
called the Slim Shandy.
Okay.
Actually a very, very solid shandy.
Right.
Very solid shandy. I like that. And for me though, like I'm not really a beer snob or anything like that. Honestly, probably my go-to beer now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I'm not getting a natural light, because more often than not, if I get a pack of beer, I'm sharing it with somebody.
Right.
I'll probably get an ultra.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's probably the go-to. But I feel like again, just like you
Right.
said, like that's a later stage in life. That's not like
you need to try porch rocker.
porch rocker.
Yep.
Beer. Sam Adams. Is it yellow? What's the color on it?
No, it's like aqua.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is. And it comes
Actually,
both cans and bottles.
you know what one of my favorite summer beers is, and this might sound weird, Kona. I like Kona Big
Yeah,
Wave.
Kona.
I like Big Wave.
Yeah, porch rocker. I think will. If you like, that's actually a very good mix. Like if you mixed a Kona with a shandy, you would get a porch rocker.
I might never drink anything else ever again.
Yeah, that's what I said. I think the first time I had a porch rocker, like this best beer ever. And obviously you drink a lot of them, and then you're like, all right. But yeah, porch rocker. Before next week, get yourself one.
Oh man.
All right, we got off on a
Yes.
tangent there, but everybody likes to talk about beer and drinks. And
Exactly. I mean, we just took a
look
couple.
at us.
We just took a couple. So,
So
all right, let's jump into news this week.
Mm-hmm.
What are some?
I'm going to do just a quick recap. The match happened
Yeah.
not this weekend, but last week. Brady, Rodgers versus Mahomes and Allen. Highlights for me are that's the first time we've had 4 guys. First of all, no professional golfers.
Correct.
Second of all, very amateur, relatable swings. Good golf swings, but not
Yeah.
not disciplined golf swings. Not, I mean, Brady probably the closest thing to like something that's been rehearsed and practiced. The other three guys just athletic swings, and they still hit the ball a long ways because they're athletic, because their hand-eye coordination is elite. But I mean, you're seeing the big cuts, you're seeing the outside in type of swing path, you're seeing the bad mishits when they don't swing well. People in the stands getting hit left and right.
Oh yeah.
One ball off a fan onto the green for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
But like those were the highlights for me. Stoy had asked me, and I don't remember if it was on air. I think it was actually off air. I don't know if he was thinking Mahomes and Allen would win or what, but I was taking the old guys the whole way. They jumped out to a lead. Mahomes got in fuego hot.
So hot.
Josh Allen did not play very well. He had a few shots here and there, but Mahomes carried them back to a lead. Old guys win a hole to tie, go into the last hole. Rodgers hits a 12 to 15 footer.
Really good putt.
Center cut to win it.
Really good putt.
Yeah. And
but like that's
very entertaining match. 12 holes is about right. It starts to get a little long when you're playing that type. But I mean, yeah, I'd say it lived up to everything, and I just really liked the amateurism of the golf and feeling like, yeah, like I could play at that level for 12 to 18 holes with those guys. I think a lot of people would feel that if you watched it. It was not a great time. So if you caught it, you caught it. But my guess is it was probably not overly watched.
Right. So that was my thing too, is the relatability. Like I sat there and I think I sent out a couple messages like, I could play with these guys. Like I could play with these guys, and some of them, maybe if I played 18 with Brady, like, and he's practicing and he's got a really, really pure stroke, I don't know. But we also saw the same Brady that played with Phil that was just abysmal until he holed out from 160 yards or whatever it was. But yeah, like Josh Allen, like you mentioned it, like he was. I mean, I would
guess those guys are. If you brought them to Central Iowa, comparatively speaking, handicap wise, probably somewhere between like a 4 and an 8.
Yeah, I could probably see that.
It's hard to tell. You're only watching 12
What are
holes.
you though?
I'm a 6. And so like I think they would probably be a little bit better, but I watch like especially Allen and some of his, like that guy loses golf balls.
Yeah.
Mahomes a little bit. Rodgers and Brady clearly better golfers, but not necessarily as far as losing golf balls. But like, I mean, Brady got to a point where he was just hooking balls, and then blowing balls. So like he would have lost a lot of golf balls. I mean, playing a TCI,
yeah,
he wouldn't have shot in the 70s.
No.
So like as I think about it from that perspective, and the other thing that goes into that is, these guys are on TV in front of thousands of people, which we will never probably, thankfully, have to do. And that changes things as well, as far as what they're playing on their normal courses. But these guys are playing elite courses all of the time. So tough to tell, but like definitely way more relatable than anything we've seen, when you have a professional golfer on there.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
That was the entertainment factor for me.
I actually did enjoy a lot of their like post round. So I did listen to some of their like post round conversation that they had. I enjoyed that a lot because it got into those topics. It got into being real. It got into, Mahomes being one of the first people to come up to Josh Allen after they beat him in the playoffs and say something to him and hey, sorry, great game, this,
right,
and acknowledging him right away. And he's like, this guy right next to me and pointed at Brady is the one who taught me that. He did the same thing to me in the Super Bowl.
Right.
And, and then I thought it was, again, we're like, okay, how long is Brady going to play? How long is Rodgers going to play? How long are these guys going to go? And hearing Brady and Rodgers both acknowledge, like, hey, this isn't just like I'm 100. Once I'm committed, I'm 100% committed.
Right.
But it's not like I'm 100% go. Now it's maybe, I might be 60-40. I might be 50-50 now if I'm going to play the next year. I might be 70-30 what I'm going to play the next year. And that's where Brady was at. And that's why he was like, I think maybe quick to say some comments. I don't know what it was, not officially, but unofficially retired, whatever it was.
Right.
But he even admitted, he's like, maybe I might be about 60-40 right now that I wanted to play next year. But now that I'm in, I'm in.
Mm-hmm. Well, and those guys have the ability now to not go to OTAs and not go to training camp and still be able to perform at all pro levels.
Right. And we talked about, we grow up with, there's very, very select few, and they're very, very select. Those two are very, very select few quarterbacks playing at that high level,
right?
Just athletes in general that can just turn on a switch and play at a high level.
Right.
And those guys are guys that can do that.
Well, and they're accuracy guys, and I think that can be overlooked. Accuracy, I mean, you have to have arm strength and all of that, but in the NFL, accuracy is a premium. And so I look at an Allen and Mahomes, like, in order to maintain their accuracy, because they're both gunslingers.
Yep.
And that have become accurate passers. Mahomes had the time to sit and become that and learn that from Alex Smith. Allen has played himself into a much more accurate passer than he was in college or first couple of years in the pros, and that's why we're seeing more success out of them. We see a ton of gunslingers that never become accurate, and that's why they never become successful in the NFL. So a Brady and a Rodgers, the accuracy is, I mean, Drew Brees is the other guy that comes to mind when I think immediate accuracy. Those three guys pop to my head. And so, like, if you have that already, maintaining the strength of the arm and everything like that is relatively easy. Now, Deshaun Watson, which we'll get into a little bit on a personal side, but like, he has struggled at Browns minicamp and stuff like that. In the brief footages that we've seen, he took a year off of football.
Right.
And I wouldn't say that he was an inaccurate guy or an accurate guy, but he was a guy that, he'd move around in the pocket, make plays, so on and so forth. It's a lot tougher for a guy like that. I don't care what his age is. I don't care the wear and tear on the body. Like, those types of guys just can't do what a Brady and a Rodgers can do. And I think that, more and more as these younger guys think that, Brady and Rodgers are taking off the summer or taking this off. It's like, we're going to see a lot more of those first few games where these guys aren't the level that they should be, because they think that, this guy's not practicing. I don't need to either.
Right.
I'm already making a ton of money anyway.
Yeah, I think so. I listen to Cowherd every once in a while. Like, I'll sit and listen to him at lunch. He has good takes. He has bad takes.
Right.
He's just like anybody else. I think a good take that he had today, actually, that I was listening to, he talked about bad playoff record quarterbacks is what he was referring to. Oh, they can't win the playoffs. They can't do this in the playoffs. They can't do this in the playoffs. And Rodgers came to mind because Rodgers doesn't have the greatest playoff record. Mm-hmm. But he's going to get his money because he makes it to the playoffs, because he wins a lot of regular season games. Like, your team is still very, very good.
Right.
Yeah, he might not have the greatest playoff record. He might not lead you to the promised land and to the Super Bowl and win Super Bowls every single year, year in and year out. But who are you going to find in the league that's going to do a better job than him at that?
Right.
Like, you can't just go
who
find
are you
that.
trading? Like, if you're a Packers fan who doesn't like Rodgers or is just ready to be done with him, like, we'll just pick up blank. Like, first of all, you're not gonna get a trade Rodgers for Mahomes or Rodgers for Allen, or you're gonna get Rodgers for some draft picks and Garoppolo. You're gonna get Rodgers for some draft picks and Baker Mayfield.
Right.
You're gonna get Rodgers for draft picks and name the Kirk Cousins. I mean, there you go. Like, that.
Yeah.
Nobody's taking, no, you're not taking any of those guys.
No, I agree there. And that's what's so crazy to me sometimes. And one of the things that got brought up was, a Kyler Murray and like Lamar Jackson,
there you go.
those guys as well, who might not have the greatest playoff records, but they're making the playoffs year in and year out. They're a different style of quarterback. So maybe you can potentially find somebody, but you can't replace a guy like Lamar Jackson and bring in another Lamar Jackson. Like, you just don't find that. That doesn't just come around.
Well, and you're building systems, you're building personnel
Correct.
around your franchise quarterback.
Correct.
And so, like, that's what, as GMs, whether you like your GM or hate your GM, like, that's what they're doing. They're not building the Ravens for Aaron Rodgers. They're building the Ravens for Lamar Jackson.
Exactly.
And, like, there's certain systems that fit system better than others as far as a quarterback being able to go into a system or a quarterback being able to play in multiple systems.
Well, and I think that's why we see some quarterbacks that go to other places and do not play well.
Right.
Like, who would be that guy? I don't. I can't really pick that guy. I guess maybe we'll see it with Russell Wilson. Is he going to compete very well in Denver, or is Denver going to be a lot better with him? I would think so. I don't know. Is Seattle going to be a lot worse with Drew Lock than they were with Russell Wilson?
I think you see it the most, though, when you get, like, success from a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
In a system that they're comfortable with, but that they might not have to know the whole system, and they're only doing it for 8 weeks, 6 weeks, 4 weeks. Then they get a big contract, and they have to go be the guy.
Matt Castle,
Nick Foles. Who was the guy that played for the Packers who got signed with the Seahawks, played at LSU, and then Russell Wilson beat him out, signed a huge contract, probably 10 years ago now.
LSU.
Matt Flynn.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Seahawks signed him to be the guy after he threw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns in the Packers regular season finale, signed a huge contract. I'm not sure that he might have started a few games, but Russell Wilson won that job as a rookie. I mean, they were paying Flynn 10 times as much as him.
A guy that's doing well enough. I mean, he's competing and their team is good. That comes to mind with that. Mm-hmm. On the flip side is Garoppolo. I mean, he's doing well.
He just can't stay healthy.
Right, so but he's doing well enough. But he was a backup too.
Right,
the best quarterback that we'll probably ever see.
Right,
and he got a good sized contract. Went down to San Francisco playoffs and did those things and to a Super Bowl.
But I think his health. I think we would be talking about him as just probably a better overall quarterback if he could stay healthy.
Yeah.
Maybe. But Ryan Fitzpatrick just announced his retirement, and he is quite literally the all-time greatest backup.
Brian Hoyer.
I mean, he's got some company, no doubt. I mean, I say it with a little
you're not
hesitation,
wrong.
But that guy has literally been put into
and
however many different systems
and
wins.
And
is an ultimate great teammate. Not a bad word's ever been spoken about.
Right, and that's where it's crazy to me sometimes when some of those guys don't win. I mean, you're going to have good as a starter. Don't win, I should say. A guy that comes to mind that's going to be a really good backup and probably will be a good backup for a long time is like a Colt McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good backup. Like, he's a really, really good ball player.
Yeah.
I mean, Beathard for a little while was a
lot of that, though, just comes down to be able to, like, sustained consistency is just so hard.
Yeah.
And those guys, first of all, they have a fire. They have a leadership capability. And so, like, that's all of, like, your main characteristics you see in great backups is they're great leaders. They're very fiery or, leadership based and they can rally the troops, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And that's only sustainable for so long before game plans change and your flaws can start to get revealed. But in a 2 to 3 week window, 3 to 5 week window, like, you can take advantage and lead your team in that capacity. And that's, the difference between a successful backup versus a successful year in and year out starter, 10, 12, 15 years, whatever it may be.
I agree.
It's time.